Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Ryan with Propelio. I am super excited to introduce y'all to a brand new show here on Propelio TV. What this show is going to be is Pam Goodwin and Shelby Beckman. And Pam Goodwin is just a beast, a monster in the commercial real estate game. And Shelby is brand new. She doesn't know anything about it. She's probably nervous right now and kind of look at me going, don't tell them that. But that's what this show is all going to be all about. It's Pam taking Shelby and underneath her wing and mentoring, teaching all things, all there is to know about commercial real estate. And on top of that, y'all get to learn on the side. So keep the questions, keep the comments. Right now, Shelby is very, very concerned about having stupid questions. And I told her, please don't worry about that. Just ask questions. Because this is what this is going to be. It's going to be a mentorship hour every single Tuesday at 3 o'clock where Pam coaches and teaches Shelby how to do commercial real estate. So stick around. We'll be right back. And I'm really looking forward to this one. And we don't have a red light yet. And welcome back. So this show, you were on last week with Casey and we were talking about, hey, it'd be really cool to bring commercial element to Propelio TV. Obviously you've had your experiences. And what I want to do in this first 20-minute segment is just talk to you guys, like talk about your experiences, talk about Shelby, who she is, her experiences, but then also kind of go into what the purpose of the show is. I know I kind of briefly scratched it in the intro, but I just want to use this first opportunity, 20 minutes, to talk about that. And then from then on out, it's just full steam ahead, like knowledge. So I know you were here last week, but who are you?
Hi. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Shelby.
Hey.
Hi, Pam Goodwin with Goodwin Commercial. I have been in real estate now for, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, 30 years. Mm-hmm. So I love sharing my knowledge and really helping people who are interested in getting into commercial real estate. So for the first 15 years, I started off on the landlord side and then went on the tenant side with Brinker International, developing more than 50 chili pad sites. And now I have my own business for more than 13 years.
And don't worry, Shelby. Hopefully we'll go into what a chili pad site is.
I think I have a good idea.
Well, I don't, but we're good.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry.
So that's a little bit of for 30 years. And now I really thoroughly enjoy when someone reaches out to me, especially someone younger who is interested in getting into the business, so I can show them, if they're interested in commercial real estate, how to find your niche, how to make money in commercial real estate, how to get paid 6 ways on one deal, and just really sharing my knowledge. So I am so excited about this show.
Yeah, and again, it's like, because we talked about how we could work together with Propelio TV, and there literally was a 2-page email. We go this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, and it was kind of like, well, there's so many directions. And then I was thinking to myself, I have a way I can get all of them. I don't know if you realize that's what I did, but the way to get all of them is just, hey, here's Shelby, teach her everything.
Please. I'm very excited to learn from you.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So as far as Shelby, I know you've been in this business for about a year as a realtor. Why commercial? Why real estate? Who are you? Roll Tide, those type of things.
Roll Tide. I've always been interested in real estate, and when I moved back to Texas, thought the best way to get my foot in the door was to get a residential real estate license, kind of get that under my belt, and then move to commercial. Eventually, I want to end up pretty much real estate development and owning a lot of land, but I thought residential would be the easiest way. I applied to the big CBREs, Transwesterns, so it was kind of just decided to go the residential side.
Well, and I do want to give you kudos or props or whatever the kids say these days, because most people, it takes them a long time to realize that the money is in the commercial, the money is the multifamily, the money is in the big deals. Well, single family is, boom, boom, boom. There really isn't. I mean, you can make a ton of money. Donovan Ruffin makes a ton of money in single family, but commercial, you can make a ton of money on one deal, not a million deals. So kudos to you.
Oh, I know. Can't wait. Can't wait to work with Pam.
So as far as the direction of this show, what are things that you would like to get out to the public, or what are the things that you really want to teach Shelby?
So really, as far as commercial real estate, everybody does have that. They're very afraid to get into commercial real estate because they think it's always the large shopping center developments or big projects, or you need multi-millions of dollars to get into commercial real estate. So I just really want to go step by step of once I left corporate America more than 13 years ago, and how to find that first deal, how to make $1 million on one deal. How's that sound?
Amazing. I'm down. Sign me up right now.
Okay. So we're going to be walking step by step on the process of how do you find that deal? And so we'll be, just going through step by step of everything that I've learned and really, really showing you shortcuts and teaming up together on a project, because I don't expect anybody to go out there and figure out how to do commercial real estate on their own.
Right.
Because after even 30 years, every single deal I learned something on. So, I get calls on, hey, I have a question about this, and we work together and figure it out. So I'm really looking forward on the step by step of how to get started.
And what I'm looking forward to is the fact that even though this is this is typically going to be a one-to-one conversation, that our audience, myself, all Propelio community, YouTube, everybody get to just sit on the wall and just like a fly on the wall and learn. And that being said, if you're watching and you do have questions, drop them in the comment section. The whole point of this is to be, yes, Shelby gets the keys to the city of per se, but the whole community gets to learn through Shelby. So use Shelby as your voice or whatever. But if you have questions, if you have directions that, because sometimes, as I was just telling Shelby a second ago, there's sometimes that you're going to think you're going to have a stupid question. Ask it, because I guarantee you there's somebody out there that may have that same question. At the same time, there may be times that Shelby gets something very, very quickly. If you're in the audience and you're like, wait, what did they just say? Ask the question, and what, hopefully behind the scenes, Tommy, myself, Travion, hopefully we'll be able to catch it and like throw the question up so we don't move on too far. As far as the show and the progression, what do you want to get out of this, Shelby?
Well, first, I really do, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I really do want to figure out how to transition from residential to commercial, because I'm with a larger broker and they don't have a commercial arm. So obviously am I jumping ahead, or can we go ahead and start on that? Do you need?
We're just talk. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, how would you even go about starting? Because residential is completely different from commercial. And I know that I will need to learn under someone in commercial. So what's the best way to do that, to make that a smooth transition?
So did you say you've been in residential for about a year?
Yes.
And so right now, are you representing buyers or homeowners?
I've just got one seller right now,
Okay.
but I've been representing both on the buy and sell side.
So when you think of commercial real estate, because a lot of people will say that I'd like to get into, I'm in residential, I'd like to transition to commercial. Some people don't even realize that with your residential real estate license that you're able to do commercial properties also. It's the same license.
Okay.
And so I guess my question would be, and the first question I ask is, so why commercial real estate? And commercial real estate is pretty broad. Mm-hmm. I specialize in retail, single tenant net lease deals. And so if I throw out any words or questions, like Ryan said, definitely stop me if I talk too fast. You're like, what does cap rate mean, or what does LOI mean? Just go over that. So I just wanted to talk to you as far as when you think of commercial real estate, what would be your ideal when you think of that? Why did you want to get into, or what really triggers you?
So I've always gotten excited when I'm driving somewhere in a part of town and you're able to see kind of a diamond in the rough. Like you see an area and you think this has a lot of potential, where most people drive by it and think, oh, gross, that's an old abandoned warehouse. But you've got to have vision, and if you see where things are expanding, you'll know when is the right time to buy it, how long you need to hold on to it, and then when to either sell it or develop into something of your own. And since I've never worked in commercial real estate before, I think I would want to do like mixed use, because I think that that's a little bit of everything. But I've always been drawn to it. I think it's exciting. It's fun to have a vision and then bring that vision to life.
And that sounds very similar to really why I wanted to get into it. Always being I love to shop and I love to eat. So, commercial real estate.
Why are you looking at me like right after you say I love to eat? Cue to Ryan.
I cue to Ryan.
What?
I didn't mean it like that.
It's a fat joke already.
I like beer and burgers, so.
Do you need a beer?
No, I don't need one. Anyway, so when I, worked on the shopping center side, then I wanted to work on the tenant side, and I had mentioned before I thought I wanted to open up a restaurant, so I went to go work for one of the largest restaurant companies in the world, developing properties, and to find my why. When we were doing a Chili's in a small town of maybe 7,000 people, to see them roll the red carpet out for a Chili's to have a new restaurant come to their community is why I love and have focused on a market that smaller markets bringing restaurants and new retail to that community. So I can definitely, see that interests you.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So other than just the transition from residential to commercial, what are some more longer term, broader goals that you would like to get out of this whole? Like for me, my goal of this show would be that in whatever time frame, whether that be a 3-month, a 6-month, a 9-month, a year and a half, I don't know. I'm not commercial real estate, so I don't know what that process is. But my goal would be that you're able to either be just amazing enough in this field that people already go like, I want to hire her because she knows her stuff. She's been trained. She's been under the tutelage of Pam Goodwin here, and you immediately get a job. Or vice versa, you're so good that Pam's like, I want to hire you. Or Pam's like, I want to JV with you. That's where I see you in the process of this show. I don't know what that timeline is. Maybe Pam can give us a better barometer. Additionally from there is I would love, as we transition and go through that phase, this show eventually evolves to kind of a talk show where hopefully y'all like each other enough, maybe you're doing business enough, but everything there is to know about commercial real estate because you've been learning it every single week on Propelio TV. So that's what I would love to get out of this. What do you want to get out of it?
I think you said it much more eloquently than I could state it, but eventually, and I think we would be a really good dynamic duo. I'd get to learn a lot from her, and then maybe we could get a spin-off show on Bravo.
Thinking real big, so I have big goals. I like that.
Yes, there you go.
As far as goals for you, like I think I already asked it, but now that you know my intentions, Shelby wants to be on Bravo. What is your goals?
My goal is, to teach and mentor you, and it would be great if we could do a deal together.
I think
and definitely work on a project from start to closing on a property, doing the Forma, doing everything that it takes, and really, we will sit down, on the next episode and have our goals in place when we're going to go look at property. I have a kind of step by step of what we need to do to go find that property and actually drive sites, get on LoopNet, make phone calls, and show you step by step of exactly what it takes. But I think it's great. I always love it when I have someone else out there looking at property, because my motto is everything is for sale. So every time you drive around, it's like that could be for sale, that could be for sale, that church could be bought, that dry cleaners, everything. So I was going to say that the first step I always recommend, regarding your business card, and you'd have to talk to your broker about it, but it is separate where if you do want to do real estate investing and developing, the first thing I always recommend is that you have to have a business card. That you're going to be now Shelby Beckman, Shelby Beckman, real estate investor, developer, and get new business cards.
Okay, so like my own entity.
Yes.
And would I need to make that an LLC?
I would advise that, yes.
Yeah.
But I always advise to talk to your real estate attorney and CPA on that.
Because you're not an attorney.
That's right, I'm not an attorney.
I like it.
But I currently have my LLC when I first started off is Goodwin Advisors, LLC, and I do business as Goodwin Commercial. So I would advise that, go get some, $10, $20 business cards. So when you are stopping off at your favorite gas station, your donut shop, where you work out, you're handing out people your cards to let them know you're an investor.
And you said I need to mention that to my broker, though, like to let them know.
Well, I would definitely let your
Okay.
broker know that always let your broker know that I am interested in investing and developing commercial real estate.
Okay.
So would you do that right off the bat, like even in this early stages of? And I know we're going to get into it because I interviewed you last week about just driving around and actually searching. What is that's one of the first things you do is have that calling card, even though like Shelby, people are watching have no clue what's about to happen next, is have at least some sort of contact mechanism.
Right. I would definitely have a business card saying that you are a real estate investor / developer on that business card. Because to be honest, you don't need a license to buy property. You don't need a license to invest. You don't even need experience to invest in commercial real estate. So just by having that card shows, people.
That's interesting because that's very, very, very similar to what we would say in single family investing. Is like even if you've never done a deal, even if you're trying to be a wholesaler, whatever you're trying to do, immediately start telling every single person in your network that I, Ryan Harper, am a real estate investor, because you don't know who's in your network, you don't know who's about to sell a property, you don't know who needs to buy, you don't know anything, and they don't know. It's very similar. Debbie Camacho Franco on her show a couple weeks ago, she was talking about how it's like winking at a girl in the dark at a bar. Like if they don't know what you're trying to do, it's pointless. So like if I'm in the dark winking and they, it's like turning on the lights. Hey, I'm trying to buy a house.
I like that analogy.
It was her analogy, not mine.
It's cute.
But anyway,
Hopefully she's watching. I didn't.
Hopefully. As far as because I don't want to be in the weeds too much, and I want to get out of the. Are y'all ready to go? That's I guess I should ask.
Oh, we already started.
We have, but I'm in the room. I want to get out of the way and
All
just
right,
let y'all
we're
go.
ready.
So
Okay.
y'all ready? All right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be Pam and Shelby ready to kick off, and you have the reins and just go and just make Shelby America's next top commercial, whatever.
That's
I like
right.
that.
Bravo
And
TV.
the
Yes.
student does better than the teacher. I
Excellent.
like that. That's
All
right.
right, cool. We'll be right back. The Propelio Academy, an all-in-one education resource for training in wholesales, subject to wraps, short sales, flips, rentals, BRRRR, property management, and more. Go to propelio.com/academy to get your scholarship today. Propelio.com. What does Propelio offer? Lead generating websites, access to true MLS comps, off-market lead lists, and deal alerts. Get them all today at Propelio.com.
Welcome back. Are we live? Are we going? Woo! Welcome back. Oh, we're live. I don't know how to
Welcome back.
be.
Hi.
Yes, hey, how are you?
Good. So Ryan has left us. We're on our own.
I know. I'm excited.
But I'm super, super thrilled that you're interested in commercial real estate, because there's probably, even being in it for now more than, I can't even talk, 30 years, there's still a small percentage of women that are investing or really in real estate altogether. So I'm so glad you're, excited to be learning.
Yes, I'm excited to meet a girl boss. It's always nice to meet other females that are really ambitious and have a lot of drive and have a lot of motivation to get out there and do your own thing and create your own success. So I'm looking forward to learning from you. I do have a question. I know when you got into it, it was probably a lot harder, but since there are less women in the industry, have you had any problems getting through the door, being taken seriously since you are a female and a strictly male?
I know, that's a good question, because even today, and I've been in it a while, but even entering a room today, most likely I am still the only female in the room.
Yeah.
And so once you have the credibility and they've kind of known what you've done, and I guess I've never even, you think about it, but I've been in it so long that I use it as an advantage right now that I am the only female in the room. So you do stand out. So I think of it as a positive versus a negative.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it for sure.
So tell me, I know we met Friday briefly, but I think it's really interesting how in commercial real estate, how we talked about you are also in fitness,
Yes.
which I think is great.
Yes.
And so commercial real estate, there's so many different categories to go into. And as I mentioned before, I'm in the retail, which I represent restaurants and retailers in a single tenant pad site, which is a triple net deal, which means buying land, leasing it back to a Walgreens, Chase, McDonald's type tenants. And then I always believe, it's really an advantage for yourself to find a niche that you prefer to be in. So that's either, you can see it's from hotels to, if you want to specialize in fitness, to medical, to storage, to golf, to beach, to funeral homes. There's somebody that just specializes in funeral homes, to churches. And the most successful people I know will find that specialization so that they know you're the person to call. Or if you're developing that type of property, that's what you kind of do over and over and get known for that. So have you thought about maybe one of those specializations?
Yeah, so I'm probably putting the cart before the horse because I would need to start in one, but I am interested in creating an area that's almost like a vision, like I was saying, mixed use. Like it's got living, it's maybe has a boutique hotel, it has a grocery store. So almost like not a community, but a mixed use place where you don't have to be living in the community, but a place that you can go to experience. For example, in Los Angeles, they have the Grove and the Americana in Glendale. And so when you go there, they have obviously shopping, there's restaurants. I believe they have living, like apartments as well. So creating something like that that's everything kind of in one space. Or is that like skipping ahead way too far and I need to reel it in?
Well, that's a good specialization to be in. And so if you like that and you want to, develop that type of property, you could either go work for someone who's developing properties like that, or right now I would suggest kind of going on LoopNet, for example, or driving around those properties and start to pick up brochures or marketing information about that to really, really start learning about how those properties are.
And how they choose the specific areas. And I just think that'd be so fun to help build a community and make an area like that. But in places like Texas where we don't have that yet.
Yeah, they're starting to downtown where they're, taking down a lot of those buildings down there, or even up in Frisco at some of those locations up there at the Star. They're trying, they've been trying a lot of that. I've been to the Grove and been to Los Angeles and a lot of those communities where you really don't even have to leave. You can just work, go eat, live, everything is just right there.
And I guess Clear Fork in Fort Worth is a little bit similar. I don't think they have a grocery store yet, but yeah, I just think that would be fun. So that's good to know that I can start somewhere there. I don't need to start smaller, or should I start smaller on just specific retail or retail spaces?
Well, on those projects, you have to know that they could probably take anywhere realistically from 3 to 10 years to develop.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So they can take a long time. Some of the people that I know that do develop those projects have, they've started off smaller by doing smaller development projects and then kind of building up to that. But I always think, I'm always, think big person.
Oh, good.
So I would definitely,
okay.
You can think big on that. You may come across something smaller. So one of the first things, I was going to have you do a homework assignment.
Oh, good. Let me write it down.
So this is what I always tell people what to do, but if getting into commercial real estate, even if you wanted to do some, I don't know, are you interested in doing any brokerage deals or consulting? or more development and investing strictly?
I think developing and investing would be, but I'm interested. I haven't done either, so I'm open to learning, and I just want to try everything to see what I'm good at and what works for me.
Okay. So yeah, that's the best way to, you may love, doing a brokerage deal on a commercial deal and learning on that. But the homework I was going to give you, and we can go over it now on how I was able to get some of the deals that I've been able to do. But I always have you write down all the people that you know.
Okay.
So it would be where you go to the dry cleaners. So for example, the dry cleaners I go to, I told him, this would be a perfect location for a fast food. Have you thought about selling your property to me so that I could, possibly redevelop it, or possibly, I went over a pro forma with him on how much money he could make, and he agreed to list it and, do a joint venture together on that.
Okay.
And so just showing him that's that deal I said, how to make $1 million off one deal. And especially if you like to rehab, I would definitely start, thinking about properties that you think that you can rehab.
Okay.
That look like torn down building.
Yeah, that are dilapidated in a crazy part of town.
Right.
Okay, so I would just find the owners, reach out to them, and list their property, hopefully.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Well, hopefully they're listed, or since you want to develop, remember you're an investor and a developer now.
I don't have deep pockets, though. What about
So I always say finding the money is the easiest part of the deal.
Okay, let's hear how.
So, but anyways, getting back to the prospect list, that's what I want you to do in the next week.
Okay.
I want you to write down every single person you know.
Okay.
So where your dry cleaner, the doctor you go to, I have some notes here, the dentist, even where you go to church. Surprisingly, but a lot of the churches have great corner locations, and they're a great redevelopment project.
Okay.
And so places you shop, maybe the med spa you go to.
Okay.
Just listing all your professional services, from your lawyer to your accountant, just
Anywhere
every
you
single
go on a
person
day-to-day
you know.
basis. Okay.
And that's a lot of opportunities in commercial real estate to either represent them on another location, if they have their own building, to be able to sell it, even your gas station. Those are good corner locations to redevelop or take on additional property. So for example, once I left corporate and started my own business, I went out to Tyler, Texas and hit that market. And there was an old motel, because I like to rehab too.
Yes.
And so that was a motel from 1950s. And the owner did not want to sell. And I bet it took at least 2 years of visiting him out there.
Oh, okay.
So I hope you have patience.
I do sometimes. I'll work on that.
Because you have to have patience and persistence in commercial real estate. So anyway, this was an old 1950s motel that after probably 2 years driving out to Tyler, I don't even know how many times, but it takes, building a relationship with these sellers that finally trust you. And that is another advantage of, I do have to say, being a woman in this business as far as the trust factor, working with these sellers, but taking that project. So that was one of the first properties I did with a business partner, to take that motel and buy the adjacent property and develop a Walgreens, Chase, and McDonald's.
Okay, so how did that look when you met with them? You found the location in Tyler. It was an old motel. And I mean, obviously you have their information. Did you call them? Did you go? How did that, please walk me through step by step the process,
So
baby steps.
It's really just having the guts and having the nerve to knock on the door, ring the doorbell or whatever at the motel and asking who the owner is.
Okay.
And then right away you'll hand them your business card that said you're a real estate investor, so that they know you're not the health inspector or anybody else out there. So you'll just hand them your card and find out. Just say, I love this property. I have no idea if the seller is interested in selling. who are they? Can I get some information? You kind of do some homework ahead of time to see if you can have that seller's information. But if not, just walk in and hand them your card and let them know that you're interested in buying this property possibly.
Okay.
And it's that simple. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that, like I said, at your gas station, or you see the rehab building. Just letting, if you have something in mind for that property.
Okay. And so then let's say I get to that point, and like you said, after 2 years, you got to that point and they were ready to sell. So then what are the steps after that, after you win them over and they're ready to sell?
So then after that, you would go to contract, have a purchase contract with them. Because we were actually, at that one, I was representing Chase Bank for new locations.
Okay.
So in commercial real estate, it's really key that you either have control of the property or you have control of the tenant, or you have control of, if you wanted to do the multifamily mixed use, you may team up with a multifamily user on that property. But it's something where you could find the property and then team up with someone. Because for the first 10 years of my business, I still team up with partners on projects.
Okay, so once sorry y'all. So once I find the property and they want to look, this is what I'm asking is, obviously, like, are you already having like seller or buyers in your back pocket, or once it goes under contract with you, that's what I guess I'm hung up on the fact that, like, obviously things don't sell overnight. So it's like, found this warehouse, found this great building, I can see it being, a brewery or something. So then I go to my contacts, my brewery people contacts, or how do you connect those?
So first you would want to, if you knew where they wanted to go ahead of time, they would send you to a location to go look, or you would put that property, you yourself, because you're the real estate investor, developer yourself, you could put that property under contract and then go find your buyers, go find your money.
Okay, that's what you're talking about, because I forgot, you can put it under contract for 90 days. So it's in my name. Gotcha. I see what you're saying. In my head, I'm thinking, I don't have the money, but I can put it under contract myself.
Right.
Gotcha. And then look for someone. Okay.
And
that makes sense.
And I've been able to put property under contract as low as $500.
Okay.
It can, a lot of times they want $50,000, $100,000, depending on, but if you're looking at a piece of property, let's say $1 million, you could put down $5,000.
Okay.
You can work that out as, with the seller on that.
Okay, and then hold the contract and then extend as I need to. But once I have that property, it's mine technically, where it's under contract. So then that's when I have time to find.
So that's when you would do your due diligence. You would go find your money. You would, find out more about the property.
Okay.
Or if the seller, they may provide financing for you.
Okay.
And so I have a whole list of due diligence questions when you're looking at properties.
Okay.
When it comes to that stage.
Okay.
But I think so many people are afraid to put a piece of property under contract.
Yes.
That's
daunting. Like, that's where I was having the hang up. Like, wait, I would actually put it under contract even though I, don't have the money to back it up. But okay, now I see where you're going with that.
So if you needed, let's say, $5,000, you're like, Pam, I don't even have $5,000. I don't know if you do, but $5,000, you may not have that. So you can, realistically, you have to go borrow it from friends and family for that money to put down earnest money, and find that. Or maybe, I hate to say it, but maybe you want to take it from your credit card.
Yeah.
Or that's why it's best to negotiate a lower amount and make sure in that contract that it's refundable.
Okay.
So then if anything, you just have to pay about $100 consideration fund, consideration in case you decide not to do it.
Okay. Okay.
But I would definitely set up, we'll definitely set up a goal. So from this date today, by realistically in 3 months, you will have a property under contract.
Oh, I love that. I think that's great.
And so what that takes now, you're gonna come up with that list by next week of every single person because they may go into your development deal, and they may be your finance person. And a lot of people, you can have equity partners too.
Yeah.
So you can have the 80%. So in your case, in my case, of when I got started, I was always providing the sweat equity. And so that's what you'll be providing, the sweat equity, if you don't have the money right now.
Okay. Gotcha. So I'd be sweating a lot. Providing a lot of sweat equity.
So there's so many different ways to get money. Right now, it's just finding that opportunity and finding that deal. And it may be that gas station, or you see a brand new Walmart going up and you want to buy a couple pad sites. And
okay, you're literally making this sound so easy. I can't believe but it's brilliant. You just have to really know and believe in what you're doing. And I feel like I'm excited.
Oh, good.
I'm ready to go drive around Texas now.
Oh, good. Well, definitely on your way home, go ahead, stop at that property. Do you have Land Glide, the app on your phone?
I don't, but I need to download that.
So I would definitely, that's one that I use, or LoopNet. I always have those next to each other. They're on the front of my phone. And so if I see something that looks interesting to buy, I will put it up on Land Glide and change it over to satellite, an aerial view.
Okay.
And so it shows the property boundary lines and gives some information about that property. I'll just do a quick screenshot of it so it has the address.
Okay.
And who's paying taxes on it. It may not be the owner of it, but you'll have to, get additional information.
Okay, and are those free subscriptions or do they cost money each month?
So LoopNet is free for a certain part of the properties, and then you can pay if you want additional properties. And then Land Glide is free for the first 7 days.
Okay.
And I have no affiliation with them, but I have just found it as before I would have to write down the address, go back and look at the tax county, and then try to find the owner. But right now that they have a wealth of information on that app.
Is there anything, since I am with the MLS and I am on the residential side, is there anything I can utilize within the MLS? I know I can search commercial properties, but it probably won't pull up all of the commercial properties, right?
Right. So I can honestly say in 30 years, I've never been on the MLS. So
okay, so you don't utilize it at all. Okay.
At all.
Okay.
So the best way to find the property is to find the tax on that, find the address, and go back to the tax assessor and find out information. But Land Glide at the bottom of it will have you click on it and it takes you right to the county link. And so it makes it so much faster and quicker. And then I can tell the property lines too.
Okay.
But it'll definitely save you a lot of time.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to subscribe and pay for those apps.
So I know I made it sound easy, but you may have to go through 20, 30, 40 properties to find that right one.
Oh, definitely.
But if you're out there for the next 30 days and every single day you look at a property, by the end of that 30 days, I guarantee you will find a property out of those 30 that you want to put under contract.
Okay.
To develop.
Okay. I already have an area. I live in Fort Worth, from Fort Worth. I already have a little area that I'm thinking would be really great. So I'm excited. I have it in my head and I don't want to say it out loud, but we'll have to chit chat.
Yeah, in commercial real estate, you want to keep under. My mentor a long time ago when I got in, to stay under the radar in development and keep it fairly quiet. But that's great that you like your neighborhood, because that's another step of very successful people. They've just stayed in their neighborhood or area because you know it so well. So in your area of Fort Worth, you probably know what you're missing, from a retailer to restaurant to, it could be a Starbucks, a Chick-fil-A, or different type of restaurant that's missing in your community. The brewery that you see downtown, or all those fun, cool, hip places. Yeah. Bringing it to Fort Worth, because Fort Worth is still booming.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was thinking is there are certain areas where we're kind of spilling over to. So if you gauge it correctly, you'll kind of know where it's growing, and the areas that aren't yet overpriced and they're still kind of in maybe not the best part of town. So I still feel like you could get them for a lot less than what they'll eventually be one day. So
and you'll notice that a lot of those areas that look a little rough right now, and then you'll see, I've been to Fort Worth lately, but woulda, coulda, shoulda,
Yes.
buying that property
Yes.
and thinking it's too expensive or it'll never happen or it's 20 years away and then you don't drive by. I mean, then you drive by and then you see, oh my gosh, all this has popped up. Exactly what I visioned.
Yes.
Does that happen?
Yes. I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't I have the money for this? Why have I not? Sorry, did I yell? Wait, segue to break? Oh.
No, segue to break.
Sorry.
So are we going to break?
We
we could just be talking here forever and ever and ever.
Yes.
We just get all wrapped up. We're going to take a quick break and we will be back.
Oh my goodness.
The Propelio Academy, an all-in-one education resource for training in wholesales, subject to wraps, short sales, flips, rentals, BRRRR, property management, and more. Go to propelio.com/academy to get your scholarship today. Propelio.com. What does Propelio offer? Lead generating websites, access to true MLS comps, off-market lead lists, and deal alerts. Get them all today at Propelio.com.
Hi, welcome back. We are here today sharing secrets of success with Shelby, and I am so excited. We've been talking about how to get started in commercial real estate, how to find your first deal, and we left it off where I always highly recommend that you need to go in your own neighborhood. So you being in Fort Worth and talking about that and making sure, as we talked about, you're going to provide the sweat equity. We're going to find you the money for your deals, about driving around your neighborhood since you know what's missing.
Yes. No, and I got so excited when you said that because there have been so many instances where I'll see part of town and I think this would be really great for XYZ or anyways, it ends up happening and I am sad that I've never really had the opportunity or thought I had the opportunity to capitalize on it. But now I feel like I'm going to be the next real estate billionaire.
That's right.
You are.
You are, and I want to be your business partner, okay?
I know, I want to learn everything from you. No, but yeah, I just got really excited because that's exactly what goes on in my head. And I always thought that I had to win the lottery or somehow magically get really deep pockets in order to purchase these sites.
And I've seen, being in the business for so long, so many of these developers have had, everybody starts with having no experience.
Okay.
And so you're in a great position now because you're interested in residential. I can tell you have that eye to look for property, right?
Yes, I hope so.
I mean, because I used to, that property back in Tyler, I used to see the motel, but it's funny. I used to sit across the street at the Sonic. I don't know if you're a vision person, but I would sit there and go, I am going to turn that into these 3 tenants. I'm going to have my own development. The motel's going to go away. I'd vision it. And then a couple weeks ago, I drove back there. I sat at the Sonic, and that happened.
That's so cool. That's so exciting.
And so I want that. I want you to start writing it down on paper, exactly what you want to develop. What's it going to look like? Because they say if you write it down and start visioning it, it will happen. So I want everybody in the audience also who's listening, if you want to develop, how we talked about specialization, whatever you want to invest and develop, if you could do anything in the world out there, to write that down.
Okay, you just made my mind go somewhere else when you said motel. So I think it's really cool when you're driving through different parts of, Texas in the Southeast. I guess I should go back to Texas, and you'll see an old, 1950s build, and you can envision something that's really cool and retro because I think it'd be really awesome to do a boutique hotel out of, when you said old motel, you were thinking different pad sites for different retail, but in my mind it goes to what kind of architecture would the hotel have? Could you repurpose it and make it a boutique hotel? And I know you were also in interior design. I feel like that would be so fun. Then you get to be extra creative. Right. I'm so sorry, I'm tangent like how Ryan tangents, but when you said motel, that just pinged my mind to thinking it's cool to find old builds, something that you can repurpose and you don't necessarily, new builds just aren't as, there's just not a lot of feeling and emotion. They're just sterile looking, but when you find an old builder, an old warehouse that has character, I think it's really awesome, the developers that can go in there and they have a vision and they can rip things out, keep some things, but just create a really cool piece of property off of something that most people are like, ew, that's a 60s build, gross. You know, I think that there's a lot of potential in 60s, 70s, 80s builds.
I love that idea. I mean, I think that's great. So take what you really, really have a passion for. So you may not like the pad sites. You know, everybody has their own thing, but you will be really, really successful if you take exactly what you like to do, rehabbing that. That will be your legacy to put your name on it.
Yeah.
And have that every day so you can drive by and say that you developed it.
So cool.
I know. So we're gonna make it definitely happen.
I'm so ready. I'm like ready to wrap it up and go start looking on my computer. So
you're gonna be driving around and going in some interesting places.
Yeah.
And start, you know, looking at pictures, ripping them out of magazines of ideas that you have, from light fixtures, you know, to whatever you like. A vision board of your first development.
Okay, I really like that idea.
And then we will find, you will find, and I will help you find the right property to determine how many acres you need on that, the Forma, the construction. That comes much later.
Yeah.
But right now, just create exactly, you know, the perfect world of exactly what you'd like to develop. And don't think too big, too.
Well, exactly.
Think big. I mean, I always say it's easier to, you know, think big, to do that kind of project. Or, you know, starting off small too. You can kind of do those on the side and have, you know, a plan of your 5-year plan, because you're so young, you know, 5-year plan, 10-year plan of when you want to develop these. But people are looking for projects like that to invest in. The cities are looking for projects like that. They're fighting for unique projects. So if you have that vision, you'll get the money, you'll get the city, you'll get all that backing.
Okay. I'm like so excited, I'm okay. But in regard to the Forma, what you were saying, what all does the Forma entail? Because obviously you're the professional. So so what does that mean? What is
it's typically just a 2-page sheet, but it's showing your soft cost, the amount of money you'll spend on your architect, your civil engineer, soils, environmental, all those soft costs. The cost that you'll have for land, your construction costs, building, closing costs, commissions. It'll have all of those numbers on that form of what it will cost, so you know exactly what you have to do to sell it, lease it back to those tenants.
Okay, and would I take that Forma to investors? Because let's say I found a property, whatever, it's under contract. Then I would have you help me with the Forma, and then that's when I do that. And then once I have the numbers, concrete numbers, is that when I gather investors?
Right. So once you found your property, we put it under contract, then you're ready to do what we call, you know, the Forma, and you would do a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
You know, and that's what you would do. I have plenty of examples of an investor presentation, you call it.
Okay.
And at that time, you would have the aerial information on what you plan on doing, a summary, all that information, Forma, showing them. The bottom line is they all want to know how much money they're going to make at the end of the day.
Yes.
Are you looking for equity partners? Are you looking how much? Is it going to be a $5 million project, a $20 million project? And then doing that presentation and, you know, going out there and trying to find investors.
Okay.
I get on LinkedIn. And that's another thing I was going to say. On your LinkedIn profile, I read what it said now, and which is great for what you're.
what it said now.
What you're great. No, I mean what you're doing now. You own your own fitness.
Yes.
Which studio. I think is just fabulous. I think that's great. You know, how to own your own retail business. You're entrepreneur yourself.
I'm trying. I'm working on it. I wish I owned the space I'm in, but I'm leasing. But it's exciting, and I'm ready. You know, I want to be a boss babe one day and have a bunch of different incomes and a bunch of different businesses. So this is my first baby. So I'm excited to start in the commercial, because that's eventually need to get PowerFit up and running, and then kind of move full-time into commercial real estate.
I was going to say, if you wanted to, on your
LinkedIn
LinkedIn profile, don't forget to add that you're a real estate investor, developer.
That's something great I need to add.
And anyone else out too, just add that on your LinkedIn profile. And just so people know that that's what you are.
No, and that's great. And I would have never known to do that.
Because a seller may be looking you up on LinkedIn. Because I look up sellers on LinkedIn now.
Okay.
If I was just doing that today, actually. I was looking up an LLC, and it had 2 men's names. So the first thing I went to was LinkedIn, and I found them.
Okay.
So then I found out that they were both investors out of Florida. And so that's why I just wanted you to add.
Okay,
add that on your profile.
That's great. So then some more people can find me.
So look, 10 minutes left. We've already, what time is it? It's already gone by really quickly.
It has. Well, I guess the homework, we'll go over that next time. I'll gather that information. We'll go over it next time.
Right. So I'm going to take a look at your business cards that you've ordered.
Okay. I'll have to use Vistaprint.
Okay. So order your new business card, so you'll be ready then. And then you'll have your prospect list of all your friends and families and people that you think you can do commercial real estate business with. Because in the meantime, you might as well do some commercial brokerage.
Yeah.
And I can help you with that.
Okay.
I can walk you through the entire step on that. If you said, if you did find someone once we go through that list and they said, yeah, I definitely want to open up a new restaurant, I need a new building to buy, you could start getting those commissions right now and transitioning into commercial real estate that way.
Well, and with you just saying that, I actually am starting to look for a second location for PowerFit. So that would be good because
there you go.
I'm like my own, okay.
Yeah.
And then I could show you, that'd be great to be able to go over that with you and strategize on, which area is price per square foot, et cetera.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, good.
Since I'm the retail person, depending on where you want to go, I, have all that information and have a lot of information on sales of what other people do.
Okay.
And so we'll make sure because my goal is always to have the number one location, the top location, the most success. So that would be so much fun to work together on that.
That would. I'm okay. Now I'm even more excited, but I'm ready to cut so we can.
I may even have you buy. I'm always in. My goal is to for everybody to own their own real estate and have their own cash flow. We may be able to find you a building that's $300,000 or so.
You are literally making my heart jump. I'm so excited. That's truly in my dream pipeline. So that would be to own a building.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, you have to own your own building.
I do.
All right, we'll focus on you. We'll set that up. That our goal is right now for you to find your own building right now to get your next location.
I'm so excited.
And then once you have that equity in that building, you're ready to buy, the next one and the next one and the bigger one and the bigger one.
Yes.
But you have to start with the first one.
Exactly.
So we're going to find you your first building to buy.
Yay! I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun.
I know. Skip that leasing. You want to be your own landlord.
I do. Definitely. Yeah. And now that I know that there is a way that I can do that, had I known that prior,
I'll help you get financing and you can get, there's all kinds of different ways to get the financing. We'll know exactly what you'll be paying, but I'll guarantee you, because I just helped a couple with this, but I'll guarantee that you'll be paying less if you buy the building than leasing typically with a landlord.
I am really excited.
Oh, good.
This is going to be great.
So do we have any?
There was a lot of love.
There was a lot of love. Yay!
Well, because those
there really wasn't even the only real question was, do I have to have a license to get started, or that kind of thing.
Are we still on air?
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't need. Yeah, that's. If you're a real estate, do you have to have a license to get into commercial real estate? Only if you want to do brokerage work and other work. But if you want to be a real estate developer or buy your own property, you do not need to have a license. Oh. I would really advise, if you want to buy property and you want to be an investor, not to have your license.
Oh, okay.
So it's better not to have your license, is my take, because then you have all the liability that goes with it. So
all the fiduciary responsibilities.
Right. Brutus Senpai, I have the seller selling 2 commercial properties. I didn't know what to do with that lead. So when you have a lead like that, I get people that reach out to me on LinkedIn asking if I can help them. And we team up. And if you want to learn the process, I'll give you a higher referral fee. But if you want to just turn over that lead, then it's all different. But I would definitely find a commercial real estate broker, agent, either in the firm that you are, and team up. So if you want to learn it if you want to get into commercial real estate. But if you want to just turn it over, you can. I don't know if that was helpful, but I would just reach out to someone on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to review the property and let you know. I kind of determine where it's located, and if I don't have a 50% chance of selling it or leasing it, I don't take the listing.
Okay.
So that's kind of my rule of thumb.
Sure, benchmark 50, okay.
And then depending on what the commission will be, if it's a lease or a sale, and how quickly it will be.
Okay, and this may be, are we ending? I just had another question, but how are commissions structured in commercial? I know you said it's different between sales and leasing as it is in residential as well, but how is the split there? What is the commission structure?
So if it's a sale, it's typically 6% and 3% to the buyer's agent, and 3% same thing to the.
Okay.
And then on a lease, if you're leasing space, you probably.
I'm leasing space.
So hopefully you got a commission yourself.
No.
Oh.
I know. Isn't that so bad? My friend said that. No.
Or at least you could have negotiated additional free rent instead of paying your commission.
So I did get a few months free, and
anyways.
Yes. But
so in a lease on the retail side, if I'm representing the tenant, it's in the 4%.
Okay.
And then the person who's representing the landlord will get 2%.
Okay.
And in retail, we do not typically get paid on renewals. But if you're in office leasing, they can get 4.5%, for leasing it, and they get paid on renewals. But I always say commissions are always negotiable.
Okay.
So I've worked on properties that are $2 million, and at the first, or $10 million, but the first million or first $2 million, if you're selling that property, the commission can be reduced.
Okay.
And so that's all negotiable.
All right, I like that.
But you always want to make sure you have your, if you're doing a commission, to make sure you let the person know that you do have your license and you are expecting a commission on that deal.
Okay.
And sometimes as a principal, I tell the other broker on the other side that's selling it, if there is another broker on the other side, that they can have the full commission instead of me getting the commission, so that they work with me instead of maybe another broker who's not doing that. So if they hear they're getting the full 6% commission, that they'd rather work with me than the person they have to split it with possibly.
Okay.
So that commission is not my overall goal. If I know I can make $1 million on a property, give the full commission to them.
Oh yeah, definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
Long-term gain. So.
Right. So building relationship with those brokers. So if you do that one time, that's what's happening now. They'll continue to bring you properties that are for sale, that are off market, if you're giving them that full commission.
So it's a little investment in that relationship.
Right. It goes back to relationships in this business.
Yes.
It's all about relationships.
Good. Good deal.
All right, so we have some homework to do. We'll wrap it up here. So we have some homework to do. You're going to get your list. You're going to get your new business cards.
Yes.
You're going to change your LinkedIn if you want to add that you're a real estate investor / developer looking for property out there. You're going to change that in some of your social media.
Yes.
To make sure that they know that.
Okay.
And then the next step is for really 30 days, every single day, try to identify one property that you've spotted, that you've seen.
Okay.
And, look at it. And then at the end of that 30 days, you'll be like, these 2 or 3 or 4 are the ones that I want to target. And so for next week, for show, if you find one in the next week, you should have 7 of them, a minimum. That would be the minimum. You may need 100. You may find 5 a day.
Yeah. Well,
because I know you're a go-getter. You're going to find 5 a day.
I am.
And next week, we can analyze one of your properties that you've seen, or one that you didn't like. Or we can do one, and I can tell you why it would work, why it wouldn't work, and go that.
I think that's great. Okay, good deal. So
I think that's a wrap. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was fun. Thank you so much. I'm excited to see where all of this goes.
I know. I think you'll be great. And I really, really look forward. I'll learn a lot from you. You'll be bringing stuff, and hopefully you'll learn from me, and we'll learn from each other.
Yes.
And I also wanted to tell you, I carry this with me, but I have this $1 million real estate journal that I got at Vistaprint.
Okay.
So order one for yourself. Just come up with a journal, and then so that you have everything you're writing about your future development, properties that you see, things that you learn, shows that you watch, and create your own $1 million journal.
Oh, I love that. That's such a cool idea. Perfect.
And I think that's a wrap. Is that a wrap, Ryan?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We've
How
thoroughly.
can people get a hold of you for business?
To get a hold of me. That's a good idea. Go to my website, pamgoodwin.com, or I can be reached by email at pam@pamgoodwin.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter under Pam Goodwin, CRE is that. But I'd love to connect with you, and especially on LinkedIn, I really post content probably 3 times a day.
Okay.
On commercial real estate tips, how to find your first deals, how to talk to the economic development director, all that information. So connect with me on LinkedIn. How can we get a hold of you?
You can email me at shelbyabeckman@gmail.com. Ryan's laughing at me because I closed my eyes. I do that all the time. Sorry.
All right. Thank you.
If you need off-market MLS comps, leads, a website, or free education, and much more, please check out Propelio.com. Propelio TV is sponsored by Noble Mortgage and Investments, Batch Skip Tracing, Think Multifamily, CreativeCashflow.com, and Lifeonaire.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan with Propelio. If you like what you saw, please subscribe. Turn on those notifications and stick around for more. We have tons of content like this all over our channel. So if you want to learn more about real estate investing, stick around, watch Propelio TV, and we'll see you later.